Press conference. Secretary of Defense Les Aspin and the General Colin Powell, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, described the missile attack and justified its goals.
The Iraqi Intelligence Service, the IIS, is the largest of the Iraqi intelligence agencies. It is responsible for investigating and acting against any suspected disloyalties. It's also responsible for monitoring Iraqi citizens and political activities and countering dissident Iraqis and opposition groups outside the country. It is responsible, the primary agency responsible for terrorist attacks abroad, as it tried to do in this case. The IIS has carried out numerous covert activities, including assassinations of Iraqi political dissidents, of defecting scientists, and of Kurdish leaders. It has conducted a terror campaign in Kuwait, car bombings in northern Iraq, and bombing of UN relief convoys, an attack on UN personnel. And now, of course, an attempt on the life of a former president of the United States. The central core of the IIS is a large multi-story building, headquarters building, in Baghdad. That building was the target of the just completed attack. It contains the offices of the director and is the focal point for all IIS domestic and overseas operations. It is the hub for IIS operational planning, interrogations, communications, and computer operations. By selecting this facility for attack late at night, we have designed a response that is proportional and will disrupt Iraq's capability to conduct such future actions. And we believe it will be seen correctly by the people of Iraq and by the leadership as well as targeted solely against the regime responsible for the attack on President Bush and not targeted against the Iraqi people. Tonight's action was conducted exclusively by U.S. forces. The crime was committed against the United States, and we elected to respond and to exercise our right of self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. Behavior such as the attempt on the life of President Bush could not go unanswered. If the regime in Baghdad is allowed to believe that it can escape responsibility for such behavior, it will only be encouraged to repeat it. Colin?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. As the Secretary noted, we selected as the target for this evening the Iraqi Intelligence Service headquarters. We selected it because it is the closest thing related to the provocation. We're quite confident that they were the ones responsible for the planning of this attempt on President Bush's life, and so we wanted to make sure we had a target that was, shall we say, nexus to the provocation. We designed the attack in a way that it would be proportionate to the attempt on President Bush's life. To orient you, Baghdad, the Euphrates River, the Rashid Hotel located here, the Iraqi Intelligence Service complex located where you see it there. Next, please. This is a line drawing of the facility, a very large facility that's walled in, and the area of interest for tonight's attack was the headquarters area shown within the solid red line. Now to move to a photo of that headquarters complex within the solid red line. You see it there. The headquarters buildings referred to by the Secretary, some supporting communications, command and control buildings, as well as the facilities building that provides power, lighting, and other utilities to the main headquarters. Let me blow that up a little more for you. Better picture of it, and I think it is obvious what we're talking about. The three wings, the main headquarters wing, ancillary parts to it. This was the target for tonight, and all of the TLAM missiles which were fired at the complex were at this headquarters section of the complex.
How many were fired?
A total of 23 missiles were fired. They were fired from two United States ships, the USS Peterson, DD-969, a Spruance-class destroyer in the Red Sea, the USS Chancellorsville, CG-62, a Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser. 14 came from the Peterson, 9 came from the Chancellorsville. One was originally planned to be 24. One did not align properly and was not fired. So 23 of the 24 missiles that were planned were launched. And the best information we have at this point is that those 23 all performed as they were supposed to. We do not have bomb damage assessment yet, but we have some preliminary indications that they are in the target area where they are supposed to be. I think you are all familiar with the TLAM-C missile, but we can go into that if you need any further details.
Peterson was Red Sea, Chancellorsville is Persian
Peterson,
Gulf.
Red Sea, Chancellorsville, Persian Gulf.
General, you said you don't have any specific estimate, but what would your expectations be? Is there anything left there?
It is a very large complex, and 23 TLAMs will not take down the entire complex. So we selected certain parts of the complex that were of greater value, we believe, to the Iraqi intelligence service than other parts of the complex. You should not expect to see the entire complex knocked down when film is available of
Do
that.
either of you expect retaliation?
I think we think that this would be very unwise for Saddam Hussein to retaliate, but we never assume anything. Yes, sir.
What kind of a wake-up call do you think this sends to Saddam Hussein?
Well, it's clearly designed as a wake-up call. I mean, if you see the building that was selected, the time of day that was selected, there's a lot of indications as to what the purpose was, and the purpose was to send a very strong message. And the message is that that kind of behavior is just totally unacceptable.
And still to come on World News, a witness to the missile strike describes the attack on Baghdad. And Iraq's ambassador to the United Nations offers an angry reaction and a firm denial.